Welcome back to Reading Destination. I'm so happy you came back for another story today. We're going to read another two-parter, and it's called Sir Humphrey's Honeystands by Christopher A. Lane and illustrated by Sharon Dahl. And this is part 1. There was once a bear who lived in a beautiful house deep in the forest in the kingdom of Kidderminster. His name was Humphrey, and he was very wealthy. In fact, he had so much money that he was a true millionaire. His spacious home resembled a castle with many large rooms and wide windows. He had servants to prepare his dinner and to clean up after him. That would be nice, huh? He even had servants to draw his bath and lay out his clothes. He lived a kingly life, and the woodland creatures actually considered him a royal bear of sorts and called him Sir Humphrey. He had gotten rich after he had found an enormous beehive. He had sold the honey from it, and the woodland creatures couldn't seem to get enough of it. They thought it a delightful topping for ice cream, waffles, and peanut butter sandwiches. Some took to adding it to their hot tea, while others poured it onto their crumpets and raisin cakes. Still others enjoyed it plain, all by itself. Humphrey soon found himself swamped with so many orders for honey that he couldn't keep up. He looked for other animals to help him with his honey business. Freddie the fox was one of the first animals to come forward. Freddie was a clever sort and seemed very willing to help. Before long, Freddie became Humphrey's chief fox and #1 servant. Now, years after discovering the beehive, Sir Humphrey had a number of honey stands scattered throughout the forest. He had many servants who took care of supplying honey to the forest folk, and Freddie the fox was in charge of them all. This left Sir Humphrey free to spend his days relaxing in his spacious manor, sipping tea and eating freshly baked muffins with honey. Now it came about one day, just before nap time, that Edward, the bookkeeping beaver, was in Sir Humphrey's study checking the honey records. "Are my honey stands doing well?" Sir Humphrey asked. "Oh yes, quite well," Edward assured him, adjusting his round spectacles. "In fact, you could say, What is it?" Sir Humphrey asked, sitting forward in his tall padded chair. "Probably nothing," Edward said. "Just a slight discrepancy." "A slight what?" Sir Humphrey asked. "A discrepancy. A small problem," Edward explained. "The numbers here don't seem to add up correctly. It seems that one of your servants has, borrowed several jars of your honey and failed to return them or to pay you." Sir Humphrey was silent for a moment, his nose wrinkled up as he wondered what this meant. "One of my trusted servants?" he asked finally. "Yes, sir. According to these figures, he owes you 99 jars. 99 jars? Humphrey shouted in disbelief. "No, excuse me, I was mistaken. Let me check these numbers again." "Phew! For a moment there, I was getting very concerned," Sir Humphrey smiled. "He owes you exactly 100 jars, Edward announced. 100 jars? Sir Humphrey nearly fell from his seat. What on earth could anyone do with 100 jars of honey? Edward shook his head. "I have no idea, sir, but I certainly advise you to find out." "Oh, I assure you, Ed, I will find out at once. Reginald!" he roared. Moments later, a regal-looking hound appeared in a clean, sharp butler's uniform. "You rang, Sir Humphrey?" he asked, without blinking his sleepy eyes. "Yes, Reginald. Please summon—" Sir Humphrey paused. "Ed, what was the name of that servant?" Edward flipped quickly through his papers. "It is Mr. Freddie the Fox." Humphrey started. "Freddie? Surely you are mistaken." Edward looked down at his documents and then shrugged his shoulders. "It's no mistake, sir," he said. "Freddie the Fox owes you honey." "Unthinkable! Reginald, have Mr. Fox brought to me at once." "Very good, sir. Will there be anything else? A cup of tea before your nap, perhaps?" "No, Reginald. I am too upset for tea or even a nap today." Wow, that's pretty upset, huh? Reginald nodded and left the room with Edward the bookkeeper. Sir Humphrey sat for some time staring out the window at the smooth green east lawn. There were birds hopping about. The sunlight was streaming down through the tall evergreens, and a group of young squirrels were tossing acorns to and fro. But Sir Humphrey did not notice. He simply sat slouched in his chair, muttering to himself. Finally, he heard a knock at the door of his study. "Come in," he said in a deep voice. Reginald the butler held the door open. "A Mr. Fox to see you, sir." "Send him in, and have Ed, my bookkeeper, come in as well." "Good day, Sir Humphrey," Freddie said brightly as he entered the study. "You're looking good, sir. Must be the muffins and honey, eh? Oh, it's awful nice of you to have me over like this. What did you want to talk about? You going to open another honey stand? I tell you, I have some ideas about that. I was thinking about a place over by the Elk Lodge, and That's not why I asked you here, Freddie," Sir Humphrey interrupted. "Sit down and listen. Ed, tell Mr. Fox what you found in the records." "According to these records, Mr. Fox, you owe Sir Humphrey 100 jars of honey." Sir Humphrey leaned forward toward the seated fox. "How do you explain this debt?" Freddie stuttered. "Well," Sir Humphrey asked, "did you take 100 jars?" "I guess so," Freddie said quietly. "You guess so?" Sir Humphrey roared. "Freddie, whatever did you do with 100 jars of honey?" "That's enough honey to hold an old forest pancake feed. We could invite King Leonard and his court besides." "Yeah, I guess you're right," Freddie said. "What happened to it?" "I took some home for my family. You remember my family. Lucy, the wife." He pulled out a wallet filled with photographs. "And there's Dora, our littlest fox. That's Ted. The tall one is Stan. Boy, are they ever growing." Sir Humphrey stared intently at Freddie. "Your family couldn't possibly eat that much honey." Well, no, we didn't eat it all. I kind of took some," his voice sank to a whisper, "outside the forest, and I sold it." "Where's the money, Freddie?" "I sort of lost it." Sir Humphrey gave a long sigh. "What do you mean, you lost it?" he asked, trying not to lose his temper. "Well, I have this weakness for the ponies, you know, racehorses. I bet it at the racetrack. I thought maybe I could make a little easy money. Gambling is never easy money, Mr. Fox, Edward admonished, especially when you're using someone else's money. Sir Humphrey sank into his tall padded chair. Let me get this straight, Freddie. You stole my honey, sold it without my permission, and gambled away the profits? Well, it certainly looks like he's in trouble, isn't he? I wonder what's going to happen. Well, we're going to end our first part right there, and I'm sorry, we're going to leave you hanging until Friday. So be sure to come back Friday to find out what happens to Mr. Fox. And be sure to hit the like button if you're enjoying our story. Hit the subscribe and the notification bell so that you're notified every time a new story has been posted. And be sure to share with all of your friends. Bye-bye for now.